double co-host permission. Let me get everybody in.
I'm figuring out how to mute
correlated
TikTok.
it is how well the drug works and then how my food quality.
Get everybody muted if we're not. All right. Hey guys, it's Dr. Mo. Hi on TikTok. I am here with the AMS crew today. I need to get everybody co-host privileged so we can let everybody in. So every Tuesday, usually every Tuesday at 10 Central, which is where we are, we hop in and chat GLP-1s and all the fun things. So anything you want to talk about? Here, let me grab Courtney. Courtney showed up on TikTok. If you want to, if you're our patient, you can go right into the Zoom room and watch from there, or you can go to YouTube at watchdrmo.com and go there. Or you can hang out on TikTok. That's fine too. It's all good. All right, we got some patients coming in. Courtney's got the Tritactic shirt on. Thank you. Thank you.
Good workout shirt. I'm going to work out today. That's mine.
Oh, do you want a little one back? I was cleaning out Jay's drawers and I have no one small enough to wear it anymore.
So sad. Won't fit on Jay either. Are we licensed in Washington? So we are not licensed in Washington, but wait till you guys hear this one. This is so cool. Now it's easy to remember Nikki and Maribel's websites and how to find them. We are not licensed in Washington, but Nicole Baldwin and Maribel Campos, I think both are licensed in Washington. I know Nicole is, and in order to find her, you can go to whereisnicole.com. Because I got tired of trying to remember where everybody was. So we have Where is Maribel and Where is Nicole?
Perfect.
So that's what gets you to their websites. And that's really for my own inability to get my life together and remember their websites. So we are not licensed in Washington. My coaching is global. So if you want to be coached, go to Dr. Mo Coaching, but I cannot prescribe. We cannot prescribe in Washington. So you get the back end stuff. Now the coaching is more than we get with AMS. With AMS, we really focus on health, lifestyle. We do our pillars, that sort of thing. And I'm sorry for the leaf blow in the background. I'm hoping it will be done shortly. They've been blowing a postage stamp size of a yard leaves for 25 minutes. I don't know what's happening. So it's just, I'm trying to hold it together here, people. Anyhow, I started asking questions. I'm going to turn my crew in the background up. So we have everybody here today, except for Laura, who is sleeping. So Laura is our medical director and supervising physician who works too often. And she only works overnight. So 10 in the morning is not going to be a time that she can show up. But we have Courtney, we have Neil, we have Brandon, we have Amanda. So ask all the questions. Courtney is visible on TikTok, but everyone is on the back end on watchdrmo.com. Let me make sure. Yeah, everyone's there and you can see. All right. So GLP-1 questions, stalls. I'm going to bring up something pseudo controversial because, you know, I've been online for 4 whole minutes. So let's just do that. I was looking at one of the prominent docs and she's been in the telehealth space, emergency medicine to lifestyle medicine, you know, very similar path that we did. And she's actually selling the retatrutide compound equivalent. Yeah, I love the eyebrows. You guys need to see all the eyebrows on watchdrmo.com. Just go for the literally 10 eyebrows that all went. What? She calls it her own thing.
That's just interesting selling a research chemical because that's what it is at this point.
Yeah. Not even FDA approved. Not even on a trial. Like it really could cause cancer. We don't know.
Well, and I've had 2 questions this week and I'm sure it's from all the pop-up ads. If we will prescribe oral tirzepatide, we as a group practice will not prescribe something that is not FDA approved.
Yeah, until Eli Lilly makes some sort of formulation for it.
Yeah, it's just not how we're going to roll.
Yeah.
And also, you know, without any proof that it works. So I don't want to take anyone's money and flush it down the toilet.
Oh, Lena said there's an echo. Who's got an echo? I have an echo. Actually.
Oh, Maybe mute me on TikTok. I don't know.
I don't hear the echo.
I don't either.
I believe
Lori
Lori.
said there's a lot of echo. So hold on, let's try this. All right, let's see. Hi, Gigi. Is it better? Because yeah, we're a lot easier to hear if there's no echo and no leaf blower. He's done.
Okay. My microphone's off over there now, so that might help.
All right, so hopefully, Lena, let me know. Everyone but Dr. Mo has an echo
That's interesting.
on TikTok. Everyone, it's not on. So it's just on TikTok. So is it better? Okay, it's better now.
Okay.
I
I'll
bet
hear
it was
it.
coming through. It was coming through. I bet through Courtney's thing. Thank you, Anna, for
Yeah.
giving me the thumbs up. Thank you. I do that all the time in meetings. I apparently sit like this a lot with my thumb like this. And Zoom's always like, I'm like, thanks for the encouragement. I have Zoom as my cheerleader now. Oh, okay, good. It's good now. Perfect. All right. Yeah. So we are if you go to amstelehealth.com, website's a lot simpler, hopefully easier to use now. AMStelehealth.com has all of our states on there. We are not in Washington State or Washington, D.C., but like I said, Nicole Baldwin is there. If you go to whereisnicole.com, it's an is, not an S. Do you know that there is no Where's Waldo website? I found that out yesterday too. Where is Waldo and Where's Waldo don't go anywhere. I'm like,
Amazing.
can I buy that?
Someone missed an opportunity.
Right? I mean, because I'm looking and it's all this back end, like whoever the publisher is, and you have to buy it through them. I'm like, just where's Waldo? If I'm looking for Waldo, I need to know where's Waldo.
Yeah, just interesting.
So anyhow, whereisnicole.com will get you to Nikki's states. She's licensed nationwide and she will take good care of you. Been on a 4-month stall with Manjaro. Doc has no answers. Recommendations. Oh, yes, we do.
Yep.
Oh, before we do this, let me just, because this is sort of part of this. I wonder if I can, oh, thank you, Lena. See, today I can't pin comments. Can someone tell me why I'm a TikTok idiot? Well, like seriously, I can reply, but now I can't pin today. Why some days it's a computer program. It's either 1 or 0. That's it. Anyhow, okay, let me talk about the PCP thing. We had a bunch of patients leave our practice because they thought we only prescribe compound medicine. We are AMS telehealth. Okay. We're a lifestyle medicine practice. We do habit change. We have patients who don't get any medicine from us, who just get guidance. Because sometimes it is cheaper to go through your PCP, but sometimes your PCP doesn't have all the answers because they don't dig into it like we do every day, all day. So, we don't just do weight loss. You know, first of all, it's not weight loss, it's weight management. Losing's the easy part. So you're in a stall. I'm going to hand this over to the peanut gallery behind me. So do we accept insurance? That's another question. So don't let me forget the insurance question. You guys do the stall question first.
So we'd start with what dose are you on and how long have you been on that dose? If you're maxed out or your dose has recently been increased and you can't increase again, we have what we call our pillars. And these are the first things that we go to, and we like to use the acronym PRESS. I'll pass it on to someone to introduce our pillars.
E for protein. I posted on protein. Can we have a little alliteration? But no, protein, we recommend to first do protein first at every meal or snack. We want women to shoot for 100 grams daily, men to shoot for 150 grams daily. Sharon's been on 15 for 3 months. So this is where the pillars have to come in, because you have to do the right things for the meds to work their best. The medicine is just a piece of the puzzle. It is not the whole puzzle. It'll take you a long way, but you do need to do the other things. So protein first, every meal or snack, 100 grams a day. For you, at least if you're a very tall woman that has a lean body mass similar to a man, it may need to be more. So that was the P. Someone else can take R.
Who's taking R?
Or I can keep going. Restorative sleep. 7 8-ish hours a night of quality sleep is what we recommend. Okay, so she's doing her protein. Great job. Then you want to look at if the 15 with milligrams has got your appetite. If you can eat on the 15, then you want to make sure that you're doing whole food protein sources. Don't use the liquid protein sources if it's not, if your appetite has returned some, because we only say use those liquid protein sources if you're having trouble getting your 100 grams in. So that might help. And always eat it first. That also may help. But then the restorative sleep, you want to minimize that cortisol, which we'll get more to that later, but restorative sleep of at least 7 hours a night. E is for
Electrolytes.
Electrolytes. Yeah.
Hydration. So you want to be sure that you're hydrated. We don't give an exact amount of water per day. We say that your urine needs to be pretty much clear, very light color to it at all, but pretty much clear. And at least one electrolyte drink daily. We like Body Armor Light, sugar-free Gatorades, the liquid IV, coconut water, anything that you like. But as you decrease your food intake, we get so many of our electrolytes and nutrients from our food. We need to replace those with an electrolyte drink daily, at least one. And if you're in a hot environment like we are, where you're going to sweat a lot or you're outdoors doing a lot of things, you're going to need to replace more than one drink a day with electrolytes.
Yeah, and whatever the best electrolyte drink is the one that you'll actually drink.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's the best one ever. If you won't drink it, it's worthless. Just same with protein powders and shakes and stuff. If you don't like them, you're not going to use them. Do something else. The next one is what was it? S?
Yes.
Stress. I think it's stress.
No.
No?
Safe move.
you skipped your
Your
favorite one.
favorite.
Neil?
Which
Favorite,
one?
Neil?
It's
Safe
your
movement.
favorite, Neil.
Strength training. Yeah, strength training. And that would be, and initially it would be whatever you will do if you've been on the couch, and haven't worked out in a long time. Walking is a great start. But you need to move towards strength training. And this is strength training moving towards like heavier weights, not something basically initially sure, fine, whatever, but not like something you can curl 10 times while talking on the phone and then stop and then literally go back to it. Like eventually you have to progress
I
to
feel
build
targeted,
the
Neil. I
muscle.
feel targeted. Leave me
No,
alone.
on now.
it's a process. But you have to strengthen. It's the only thing to do the muscle. There was a question about if the medicine will work or not if you don't hit your protein goals. It will still work. The reason you got to hit your protein goals is because that's one of the only things that's going to keep your muscle in addition to that strength training. So if you just don't eat your protein, you don't strength train, and you lose a bunch of weight, you're going to lose all your muscle. And then when you're done, you're not going to have any left. So if you come off the medicine, there's nothing to keep the fat off. There's nothing to burn it. So you will gain it back. And probably then some, unfortunately. And then the last one would be stress mitigation, which I think is the hardest one. Because sometimes there's lots of stuff outside your control with stress. But with stress, do all the things you can do, whether it's meditation, going for a walk, planning your days, journaling, whatever it takes. To kind of help you just bring it down a notch. Because if your cortisol level goes up, you will not lose weight. Or it makes it very, very difficult to lose weight. And sometimes there's nothing you're going to do. Like, family members sick, kids are this, that. There's nothing you're going to do. So it's just a matter of mitigating it as much as you can.
So Sharon is saying to us that she's doing all of these things. And this is, we are great cheerleaders. But we're also truth tellers, and we also want to help you be successful. So this is where my mathematical hard truth comes in. And this is the not fun part, but this is the goodness, honest truth. If you're doing all of those things and you're still not losing, then your calorie intake is too high. Simple mathematics. It stinks. None of us like it. But at this point, probably the best thing to do is track your calories. Neil and I'll disagree. I say for a week to 2 weeks. Neil says pick your three days and let's get an average of what your overall caloric intake is. And then we know we got to drop it. That's and a lot of times just tracking for a couple days lets you know where some things are sneaking in. We had a great patient that thought she was doing all of the right things. We asked her to track, and within like 1 day of tracking, she was getting a latte every morning. Now she was trying to do the like sugar-free, no fat, but it still had like 200 calories in it. Well, she was in just barely enough of a calorie deficit that those 200 hidden calories were throwing her calorie deficit off and she wasn't losing. She dropped that, went to green teas in the morning or something different that was lower in calories and started losing again. So sometimes just the tracking, but yeah, however many calories you're getting in now, if you're doing all of those things and not losing, they got to go down a bit.
Yep. And you have to track, everything. So if you're making your kids a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and you lick the knife afterwards, you got to count it. If you use sauces, you gotta measure them, or at least estimate them like somewhat accurately. I mean, a Chick-fil-A sauce I think has 140 calories. So if you go to Chick-fil-A, have 2 of those, that's like your deficit right there.
Yeah.
So it's all the little things that start to add up.
Or it's that weekend one cheat meal that, most traditional diets will have like a cheat meal or a cheat weekend or, something of the sort. If that one meal or one day of being off your plan is enough, for me, it was always enough to throw me out of the calorie deficit for an entire week because my eating habit on my free day would be so horrendous. That one free day could knock out any production for the week.
And a couple of things more. We've not, I don't think, seen how close Sharon is to her goal. If she has lost a significant amount of weight and is now closer to her goal, that is where it gets harder, because I'm right there with you. I am on 15 and I've been back up to 15 for a good 3 weeks now. Not budged. But I will be honest, I am not doing all the things I need to strength train. Perhaps for Sharon, strength training either needs to be heavier or add 1 more session a week. Those may get things to move. And you're hitting your protein goal, but again, maybe just moving that to the first thing you eat. That might help. And if you were our patient, this is not medical advice, this is just a chat. We recommend discussing this with your primary care doctor, but we may consider adding metformin if you're not already on it, to boost the effect of the medicine. So there you go. Did I hit anything or miss anything?
No, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, just kind of like if we knew where BMI was, that might help as well instead of like overall goal. But yeah, I guess to summarize is you got to do, if you're not moving and you're still up high, you got to do like a calorie count, keep track of that, like Courtney says, for years, apparently. No, like a week or 2. And then subtract, that's when you need to start subtracting calories, increase the strength training, protein sources, and basically moving to solid protein sources instead of proteins, so you stay fuller longer and get fuller faster is where I would kind of start the process. But yes, at the end of the day, what Courtney says, if you're not losing, you're eating too many calories.
And somebody also asked, if you don't eat protein, does it make the medicine ineffective? No, it does not. If the medicine is effective for you, you are at an appropriate dose, it's unrelated, but you will lose a disproportionate amount of muscle mass, which is shitty. Don't do it. I did it. I got busy. I got lazy. I didn't do the pillars, which is why we are here harping on the pillars, right? So now I've got to take this 50-year-old hormonal melee and gain muscle like little bits at a time, because it's what I got, so will it make it ineffective? No, but the one thing that will make it ineffective is eating a ton of refined foods, which is exactly what Neil just said. If you eat whole foods, again, this is dieting 101, right? Everyone who's here, thank you very much for the heart on my head. Anyone who's here has dieted. Okay. You don't find me. Stephanie actually asked, what are we talking about? We're talking about lifestyle medicine. Really. That's what we're talking about. We do prescribe a lot of GLP-1s because really, like, listen, we need a foothold in this. We gotta get some traction somehow. And this is the best way for most people that are overweight or metabolically shitty to get traction. Let's just call it what it is. Right. So we need to go back and look at what are the things. It's diet 101. We need to have more satiety with less calories, but here's where the caveat comes in. If you're on a GLP-1, eating large amounts of vegetables, they're going to ferment and it's not going to make you feel very good. And you're going to wind up in the ER thinking you have pancreatitis. And, you know, so again, it's a kind of a nuanced thing. So when people say, oh, my doctor doesn't know how to get me out of the stall, well, they don't, right? They don't have 2 nutritionists on staff. They don't have an obesity medicine certified medical director. And that'll probably be it, because I'm probably going to fail that damn exam again, but we'll see. Everyone's like, you're not going to fail. I'm like, no. A lot of it's esoteric stuff, right? Stuff that's not even approved by the FDA anymore, and I've got to know about it. So it annoys me. Again, it's textbook medicine when we do real life medicine. So we run into that. It's an absolute, it's a reality. In this world, we move fast, and we do, and we have to. So if you're doing all the right things, you're not doing all the right things. Courtney is very sweet and calls it a mathematical hard truth. But I'll tell you flat out, like she said, one cheat day, one day off the rails, right? I'll call it off the rails. We'll call it what it is for me, right? If you've been here with me for any period of time, I am absolutely 100% a volume addict. If I eat to a certain point, you know, it's like an alcoholic. When they drink to a certain point, normal people pass out. They keep going. I do the same thing with food. If I overeat to a certain point, I don't say, oh, I'm full, I'll stop. Not even on a GLP-1. In the beginning, I did. It was very nice. But now I have to work a little harder. So, but no, I don't go up on dose, because I don't believe I need to strengthen the neural pathways that help me change these things, right? So I need a bit of exposure to the problems so I can fix the neural pathways to fix the problem, right? We create systems that fix our shit. That's the goal. Okay, sorry, that was a lot.
So
What other?
Sharon was saying that she used a TDE calculator. She lost 38 pounds since October. Congrats. And her BMI is 26 with 20 pounds to go.
Okay,
So
yeah, you're at the.
you might need to recalculate based on
Yeah.
your current weight. I mean, theoretically, it's eat 500 calories less per day to lose a pound per week. It's technically a little bit more than that, because you're losing the thermic effect of food of that 500 calories. So it's a little bit more, it'd be like 550. So 570. So I would just recalculate it. And then same thing, if you're still eating over that, you got to drop it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Are supplements necessary while taking a GLP-1? I always joke. I'm going to tell you what Neil, my healthcare provider, put me on. He said, go take Flintstones.
Because they're delicious.
They're delicious. And
I
they're
could eat a whole
cheaper.
bottle of them a day, but I would get iron poisoning. So
Right, right. The only kid's vitamin left with iron in it.
Sharon's
still
asking,
trying
should I
to go
restart?
5 milligram. You'll have to excuse me.
Yeah. So typically we just like recommend any kind of multivitamin that you'll take. You know, I like gummies. You know, that's like the highlight of my day is to get to eat my gummy vitamins. But any Centrum, cheap generic ones of a counter, as long as you're taking a vitamin to kind of replace what you're not getting. And then we like biotin as well, 10,000 micrograms, just to kind of make sure we help with hair growth. What else is there? Like collagen. You know, like these are the first things I would do, the vitamins and the biotin, other stuff. Yeah, collagen if you want, protein powders, fiber supplements, greens powders. Like there's other things you can add on. But that's kind of, that part's up to you.
My dog is at the table.
Oh, it's on the table.
All right.
I like the collagen because I stick it in my coffee in the morning, and it's 20 grams of protein straight out the door without a thought to the world.
Yep.
And then if my day gets busy and my breakfast is delayed and breakfast turns into lunch, at least I've started front loading with 20 grams of protein, and then I can know that the next thing that I eat just needs to be very protein forward.
All right, guys. I figured it out. We're going live on Instagram at the same time.
Awesome.
Nice.
Mariah is asking, is tirzepatide significantly better or more effective or not that much different? I'm assuming than semaglutide. They are different overall in the studies. Tirzepatide is better. I have only had one person on semaglutide it not work for, so it still was an amazing medication and works very well for most people. But I think if you're like someone who craves food, always thinks about food, I think tirzepatide is the better medication. But they're both amazing.
I think if you absolutely cannot afford the cost difference in the two, if we're talking compound, semaglutide, if you're struggling, a GLP-1 of any kind is better than none. I've had success on semaglutide. My husband's had success on semaglutide. I do have patients that like the tirzepatide better. Semaglutide seemingly got me out of a stall. I do have more side effects with semaglutide, but those have been beneficial to me, if that makes sense.
Any thoughts
Okay.
on creatine mono daily?
I have lots of thoughts on creatine. And Neil does too. But see, if you look, Neil does it for muscle mass. I do it for my brain because I'm afraid of my brain crapping out on me.
It's perfectly safe. It is the most studied supplement ever. There are so many studies showing how safe it is, to the point where they're seeing other benefits to it, longevity, brain health. I think I was reading a study that they were looking at taking it and then studying for tests, and actually people were doing better when first starting the creatine. So yes, daily. And I think, isn't it 10 grams or 20? It's a lot daily.
A lot. I take 10 grams daily, 10 to 20 for dementia prevention. It's 5
Yeah.
grams for muscle maintenance and building, to saturate your muscles. And people will ask, oh, I gained weight because I'm on creatine. Yes, because it holds water, right? It's the same. So if you go from a keto diet, which that's another thing, we don't recommend that shit. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to back it. Let me be a little less spicy for the day. But I'm super excited that we got live on Instagram. I'm just going to say that I figured it out. You should see I have a dog and 3 screens right in front of me. So we're going to roll it. We're going to roll it. So if you're on Instagram, come find us. We have like 12 followers live at this point, because Instagram's where I'm supposed to be most active. So if you're on TikTok, could you please follow me on Instagram? Because I need love. I'm begging. I'm begging at this point. Okay. Back to the creatine. So, I take 10 grams a day. Here we go. Neil and I are going to have this knockdown, drag out argument again. I take 10 grams a day. I do it in capsule form. I take Optimum Nutrition capsule form. Neil does powder form and shoots it with water.
Yep, just put it right underneath my tongue and then take a glass of water and switch it around and swallow it down. And then chase it with a little more water. Easiest way to do it. I think Amanda started doing that, correct?
I think she did it once.
Yeah. Oh, she stopped. She choked on it once and she gave up. You're muted. I just see lots of faces.
Sorry, the dryer was going, and I mean the
Yeah.
washer. I didn't want it to boom, 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 boom. But no, it's on the kitchen counter. I keep saying I'm gonna do it because I'm with Maureen. I need some brain health. My future.
I
have a request to be live with you.
People finding. Can you? Oh wait, what? I'm like, I don't know.
Mo, I found you live on IG. I don't know if there's going to be echo if we turn it on a second platform.
Turn it on the back end, or turn your microphone off. But can you hear me on Instagram? Okay. Can you guys hear me over here on Instagram? Give me a.
Well, I turned the volume down.
Hey, the other thing, Neil, that's interesting, and I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought is on this. If you lose a bunch of muscle, like a bunch of musculoskeletal mass, the insulin sensitivity is going to drop too. That's part of this whole metabolic repair issue, right? So I think that's kind of an interesting thing that we haven't really explored a whole lot.
No, I mean, they're looking more into it. There was one company that was looking, they're doing a trial where they're using the GLP-1s along with I think it's a SARM. It's a selected androgen receptor modulator to help retain muscle mass while on these. So I think it was going to phase 2 because it looked pretty promising. So because like older people that use these like for other reasons that don't have a lot of mobility, they lose all their muscle. And in the study, it was preventing that completely. So that'll be interesting. But yes, that would keep the insulin sensitivity.
All right, please hold. Technical difficulties. Amanda, can you cancel your live? Because we have a wicked echo and people on Instagram can't hear.
Okay.
And I can't figure out how to cancel it because this is complete and utter technical error.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's the first time. We'll figure out tips and tricks for over there.
I know. Does someone have an audiobook playing? So what you're hearing, hey, Farah sees me every Monday. So over on Instagram, I'm actually live on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at the same time, and a Zoom, really. But I have to figure out how to do the audio on Instagram. I can't do it. So I
can't watch it because it won't let me watch now without.
It should. You'll pop back in. If you get off on the live and you just pop back in, it should automatically, it just sends you back like 3 seconds later. Better, I can hear now. Okay, good. So I can't go live with anyone on Instagram, but you can hear in the background. So hold on. Ready? For those of you guys on Instagram, this is what I have going on. I have 2 screens. I've got my phone hooked up, but hell, we're going to make this shit work. We're going to get out there to as many people as we can, change as many lives as we can. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sharon, has anyone gone down in dose to reset their system? We do hear people doing that. Especially if they have to.
We
So-
hear more people that there's a very strange phenomenon. We see it more often with the 7.5 and 10, where someone's rocking on 7.5. They go to 10 because they're like, I could handle a little more appetite suppression. I'm not having any side effects. They go to 10 and appetite suppression is gone. Go back down to 7.5 and all of a sudden it's back. It's a weird phenomenon that we've seen several times. But if you have appetite suppression and you didn't lose appetite suppression, I don't know that we see all that often that someone goes down and is more successful, if that makes sense. Like as a reset, but we do have people that will go down for a week or two for whatever reason, like, hey, I'm rocking it. I don't need as much appetite suppression. My food noise is good. And then they'll need to go up for a few weeks. Dr. Mo uses her dose, but uses her dose according to what's going on in the world that week. Yeah.
Well, and like Neil was saying with stress and stuff, if I've got a week where I just could not get my life under control, let's rephrase every week. No, but some days I'm better than others. Some days, like Neil calls it the donut morning, right? It's the donut breakfast. You eat donuts for breakfast, you're kind of fucked for the rest of the day. We're just going to call it what it is, So if I'm not very, very cognizant of like Courtney said, get the collagen in the morning, first thing. As my dad says, I do it on the third cup of coffee. I do it on the first. It ruins the first cup of coffee. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't ruin it. It's the collagen coffee. It is what it is. And then I just keep going. So if I don't get the collagen in, which I don't do anymore, I'm religious. I do the AG1 and the collagen. It's what I do when I get up. And now I lift for 20 minutes. Or do some strength training for 20 minutes. That's the first thing I do in the morning. Today, I was actually really late. So I literally did body weight exercises while I brushed my teeth, while I did my AG1, while I put my collagen in my coffee. Like I did 20 minutes of exercises because I'm like, I'm not doing this before school drop off. I'm not doing it. I don't do that anymore. This is not what I'm doing. So again, it's setting new standards for yourself. And you have to set new standards. The old ceiling has got to become the new floor. The old habits that we had and we still sneak in from time to time, right? We do. Like, don't bullshit me. You do, because I do, and I'll be the first one to admit it. But that shit you sneak in, it's got to go, right? Is it going to go? And Neil always tells this to me, right? Is it going to go immediately? No. Is it going to get less and less? Absolutely. The more you work, the better you work, right? That's how we do things. So anyhow, the dry, scratchy throat, a lot less food volume means a lot less hydration. You're going to be dry. That's why we talk about hydration with electrolytes.
With the Instagram switch and all that, did we get the latte addict question?
No, we didn't hit it.
Kylie said, I'm a latte addict. Anyone have recommendations to replace them? To that, I would say, what's in your latte?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't necessarily have to be gone, because if you're having, a normal size latte without a bunch of pumps of sugar in it, then it's not that bad. Overall, look at your intake and make sure that, a little extra milk in your day is acceptable. If your latte is a bunch of pumps of sugar and caramel, then therein probably lies the problem. So I would say lattes in and of themselves are not inherently evil. I certainly would not say such a thing. But you may need to see what you're putting in it, is what I would say.
So in a cheater way for me is I will do, when I'm done with a coaching call at noon, I will do 2 shots of espresso with a Premier protein shake, warm it up in the microwave for 60 seconds, and that gets me a 30-gram protein latte with really no extra carbs. Now, because you're like, well, wait a second, you just said don't do low carb. I don't do low carb, but pumps of sugar are worthless carbs, right? The goal is to get more good for you. I hate unhealthy and healthy. I don't like the terms. I mean, unless you're allergic to it, right? Or can't do it. And I can't do one piece of chocolate. It's just on certain days, right? It's only on certain days.
And I would say the collagen, if you're a flavored latte person, like if I order a latte somewhere, it's going to be a sugar-free, fat-free vanilla latte. So I buy the vanilla flavored collagen, and when I'm at home, I use like a sugar-free flavored creamer. So I use the 2 scoops of collagen in my coffee, gets me my 20 grams of protein, and then I add a lot less creamer to my coffee, and I very seldom go and pick up one anymore. This
Well,
is
even if you pick it up, right, it's still got 8 grams of protein because it's skim milk. If you do cow milk, right, or if you do soy milk, if it's unsweetened soy, a lot of their soy milk is sweetened. So you've got to know, or you can do almond milk, which why bother getting a latte?
Yeah. But you can even throw your collagen in that. I know my friend goes through Starbucks and gets her, sugar-free latte, and she throws her 2 scoops of collagen in there and drinks it on her way to work.
It's a good.
Or just don't do a latte, do a flat white with oat milk.
But I think they sweeten their oat milk, so it's got a much sugar in it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, be careful. Most of the oat milk has a shit ton of sugar.
Yeah.
I think the take-home point is
Sorry to ruin your life.
really low quality carbs are just like avoid those at all costs, if you can.
Right, garbage.
I would say limit them. If you avoid them, you'll just make yourself crazy. So if you have one once in a while, just, try to make it fit your macros. And if you have it and you don't lose weight that week, it's the latte, and you just have to accept that.
Yeah, no, 1,000% yes. Like if you want to have the latte, even if it's 1,000 calorie Starbucks frappy drink, right? If you want it every day, you have to allow for it, which means you're not eating anything else. Sorry. You know what I mean?
You're just going to eat straight protein that day. Like,
Yeah.
It's Premier and the frap, but
if you want it on an occasion, and it is an occasion, and me and my friends meet once a month, and I have this certain drink when I meet my friends once a month, don't take all of your enjoyment out of your life. That's your social activity. Just allow for it.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Electrolyte drinks. I'm going to quote Neil on this. The best electrolytes are the ones you'll drink, the ones you like.
yeah.
And if you don't like any of them, Morton Light Salt has sodium and potassium. Put a pinch in a couple bottles of water a day.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have any medical contraindications. We did not do the disclaimer today. This is not medical advice. This is a bullshit. We're just chatting. This is not medical advice. You gotta ask your doctor.
Yeah, go to the grocery store and grab some electrolytes that look good to you, flavors you like, and try 1 or 2 of them before you buy a case. Grab some powder, like the powders, or little sticks, and try them. Prime's great. I think it's a little overly sweet, but it's still really good. Body Armor Light's great. Gatorade Zero. Really any of them.
I don't like the Body Armor Light packets as much as I like the pre-made stuff. I wish they made it like the same.
See, I like the Prime powder better because I can dilute it down a lot easier. I just use half a packet with my bottle of water.
How do you get it to mix?
The Prime?
Yes.
I mix it up before I want it. So I mix it up and shake it and then come back and mix it again because it doesn't mix that great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I half mine. Someone asked about AOD 9604. Kylie did. It had lots of promise for some people. People were using a law probably about 8-9 months ago, and then the FDA put it on their little watch list, so it was taken away. So I think it has some benefit, but right now it's all gray market. So technically it's a research chemical.
Speaking of which,
at your own risk.
BPC 157 was on that as well, right?
Yep.
Okay, because that same website that I said was doing the retatrutide was also still selling the gray.
Yeah, all our pharmacies dumped those research, like what are now research chemicals. The BPC, the AOD 9604, the ipamorelin, like the GH secretogs, like.
Yep.
Even though there's lots of studies that show they're safe, I don't know what their thinking is, but I don't know if because they think people are taking way more, abusing them, or what their concern was. But they don't have to, I guess.
I was gonna say they don't have to. The FDA can do what they want, right? The FDA approved. We'll talk about my obesity medicine studying, right? The FDA, and I've talked about this before because it cracks me up, and I cannot wrap my brain around this. It makes me really not trust certain things. Yes, frother, aero latte for mixing.
The window.
They approved a device that it was like a port in your stomach outside. In your abdominal wall that you sucked out your stomach contents 20 minutes after you ate them. The FDA approved that.
Bulimic's dream right there.
So I was gonna say that is a bulimic's
Like,
dream.
they literally just FDA approved bulimia. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Good. What? Like, it blew my mind. I mean, I get it. Fine. It'll save you some tooth erosion and esophageal rupture. I do admit that, right? Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
it's not going to help you fix the brain problem, right? Food is not our problem. Food is our solution. It's totally, Kelly, totally disgusting. Can you imagine? Can you imagine going to the bathroom because you had dump it in the toilet?
Oh.
In the toilet, just like I'm like, you literally suck the contents out of your stomach and dump it in the toilet. I was like,
At
okay.
least go put it in a compost heap, you know?
Something, I don't know. My God, you know how bad that has to smell? So attractive. Anyway, I digress.
I'll stick with the chicken poop in the compost.
Right, there you go. There you go. Much better. Unreal. Unreal. But that's the whole thing, right? Food is not our problem. Food is our solution. And I actually had somebody ask, and I did this on a Q&A, it should be coming out shortly, about PCOS, insulin resistance, and obesity, and PCOS and insulin resistance as a cause of obesity. I said, speaking of chicken poop, this is a chicken and egg phenomenon, right? You weren't fat before you got PCOS, but yes, it stacks on each other. Once you start, it is a shitty.
I've been there all my life.
Sure. Do some people have PCOS when they're very, very young? Oh, I don't know, Amanda, do they?
Yeah. Full
I mean,
disclosure, I had a mustache at 16,
at 16,
but I didn't know what was going on.
what was your lean body mass like at 16?
Not great.
Not great.
I've always been a fat creator and always had to go above and beyond to even get the minimal of results. So yeah, I know that I had PCOS back then. They just didn't find it until I was in my 20s and went looking for why I had heavy irregular periods.
And the funny thing is, so we never even think of obesity as a cause of these things because in the 70s, obesity was ruled as a cosmetic disease by insurance, by Medicare, Medicaid, which is what everybody follows, right? Everybody, not everybody. What insurance companies follow for diagnostic criteria. So obesity was ruled a cosmetic disease. Meanwhile, 16-year-olds like Amanda have a mustache and have shitty periods and you're trying to figure it out. And you're like, guys, root cause.
Yeah, which by total accident, they gave me the correct, initial treatment, which is to go on birth control because my mother worked in OBGYN and I had heavy irregular periods. So the solution to that is birth control. But no, they found, my little string of pearls on both ovaries in my 20s. And to answer your question, no, it wasn't a terrible body composition. I was, not obese at that time. I was always kind of slightly overweight and always didn't go crazy with
Slightly
food.
overweight in our
The person
culture.
beside of me didn't look like, could eat everything and I could glance sideways at some ice cream and, so
Slightly
yeah.
overweight though is still not healthy, right?
Yeah, no, I'm
whatever
talking like I was not a BMI of 30. Like everyone says you had to be obese to have PCOS. No, it was a chicken and an egg at the same time. And I was not completely infertile, as we know. I have 2 children. Conceived without the fertility assistance, but I had to lose weight both times to get pregnant. The first time I went on a fully liquid diet that was medically supervised through Methodist. Through a healthcare provider in Houston.
Medically, a very low calorie diet should always be medically supervised. And a lot of these GLP-1s will throw you naturally into a very low calorie diet in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's why you really shouldn't be driving around in the dark,
That one I was set at 800 calories a day. It was all shakes. You could bake them up like Sandra does with that protein. And I did that just so I could chew. I gnawed on Parmesan cheese occasionally just so I could chew. But yeah, I was on that diet for over 5 months. That it took me to lose somewhere around 40 to 50 pounds, which everyone else in the program was dropping weight like a son of a gun. And I would show up every week 1 to 2 pounds down at 800 calories a day.
And that's what the
So
body required. That's Courtney's mathematical hard truth,
Yeah.
right?
that
That's
was my, without medication, that's my mathematical hard truth. So someone tell me eat less and move more. I don't know if
those of you who I can't see on TikTok and Instagram, Amanda just had a nice little hand gesture of the eat less, move more, and good luck, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so and that's part of the reason I do what I do in day practice. I do women's health, and these girls come in with PCOS or undiagnosed PCOS or whatever. I had one this last week who said, I want to get the testing for PCOS. And I said, I don't need any testing. Tell me about where your tweezers are and you have irregular periods. And she's like, yeah, I have tweezers everywhere. Yeah, I feel you. So there's the that word I can't ever say.
Sorry, people.
Inappropriate hair growth, and you have irregular periods when not on birth control. You have PCOS. I don't need tests. So yeah, and it's a snowball.
So I gotta grab Hope's question really quick.
Oh yeah, so many questions. So sorry.
I know. She said, agreed, food is a solution if only our country would ban additives. So the problem is it's already too late for our generation because we already have the neuroplasticity that is geared toward overeating. And so we have to, so fine, if they banned all processed food, say our country banned all processed food tomorrow, we would still learn to make food that would fit the need that our brains have grown up with. So it would take generations for that to work. And I'll be honest, I don't have that kind of time. I need to save my own life and save the lives of as many people as we can. So yes, it would be good if we did move toward that. But we can't do it tomorrow. Mark Hyman always talks about this in his stuff that, you know, we need to ban this and ban that. And fine, that's fine. But I need help today. Right. It's like, it's the same thing I do in my coaching, but that's health, wealth, and relationships. So that's kind of a bigger ball of wax, second largest ball of twine. It's a movie quote day, apparently. So, but you need relief today, right? It's like, are you going to do this job for 20 years? No, you need relief today. So fine. So how are we going to figure that out? How do we do this? How do we make you work on the neuroplasticity, work on the hirsutism? I got the word, work on the back end things, right? Food is the solution. We've still got to manage our brains. We've still got to do the work. And that work is no joke. And I'll be the first one to stand with you and do that damn work.
Yeah, Letty looks like continue with that. Hence GLP-1s. I eat so healthy now on them. I want good food, not just junk. And I think part of that is what a lot of people don't know is that Philip Morris and RJ Reynolds, they bought a bunch of food companies back in the 80s, Kraft, General Mills, Nabisco, and they started doing the same thing with food as they did with cigarettes, making them highly addictive. So that's part of why you're eating and crave those things is because they made them that way. Just like McDonald's used to be, it used to be like they take potatoes and deep fry them for you. Now, there's like 40 ingredients to a French fry?
Yeah.
Same thing with Chick-fil-A. It's not chicken. It's like 140 different ingredients.
Yeah.
But,
They make
you
all
know,
of that stuff where you just want more.
Don't take my pimento.
I'm like, don't stop ruining my life, you guys.
The interesting thing, and Amanda kind of touched on it, is part of that PCOS is insulin resistance. GLP-1s don't just lower a number; they actually target some of the metabolic processes that are causing you to have, angiogenesis, have endothelial damage to your blood vessels and vasculature and brain and heart. They increase and kind of remodel endothelium, which is on a very microscopic level, kind of like not something we talk about daily, but it's a big part of what they do. There's a lot of patients in our practice that wear like Freestyle Libres, and I think it would be really interesting to track, what a latte does to somebody's insulin, somebody's glucose over 12 hours or over, 8 hours, and what that would do in terms of damage long term to you without a GLP-1 or without at least paying attention to some of those kind of more complex or more sugary, foods that we intake. Insulin resistance is a huge part of this, and it's going to become bigger over time.
Well, I mean, that's another chicken and the egg thing, right? Where insulin
Yeah.
resistance happens. Why? Well, because we have inundated our body with extra food. So our body doesn't know how to handle it. Our body has an infinite capacity for some of us to gain fat. It's just like Amanda said, we're easy fat storers. Some of us are, some of us aren't. Our bodies were not made for the food. I had no idea, Neil, by the way, that they bought food.
They don't want you to know that either, I don't think.
It's very disheartening to me. I'm not surprised. I'm not at all shocked. Not at all shocked. So I want to make sure we hit questions too. 12 pounds in 6 weeks. Does that seem like a good rate?
That's awesome.
Great rate, right?
Yep.
Could do without the drug. My answer is no, right? At the end, even though I was trying to diet, I could not diet. Willpower was non-existent when it came to my drug of choice, which is food, right? Food is my primary drug. Well, I don't know. Anger is kind of tough in there too. Depends on what day it is. But food is the substance drug of choice for me. That is the primary. So when it comes to that, I don't have the capability to do that. I could not, if you told me without a GLP-1, maybe now, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. Because my food noise, even on a GLP-1, some weeks when I'm on 5 milligrams, gets really out of hand, which that's why when I'll go up, like the next week, I'll be like, listen, I got to go up. We're going up to 7.5 the next week, because even there are weeks, and maybe it's hormonal, right? I don't know if I'm in menopause or not. The ranges are big. They ask you what your symptoms are. I'm like, well, I don't know. I have 15 different reasons to have these symptoms, so I have no idea. So anyway, again, like Amanda says, I don't need blood tests to know you have PCOS. What's going on? What do we need solved? What are my supplements targeting? You know, because people ask me all the time, like, what supplements do I take? Well, I target my specific symptoms. So anyhow, that's a lot of information for 12 pounds in 6 weeks. The answer is yes.
Spiritual Gangster said she's on tirzepatide. Would the 12 pounds in 6 weeks be good?
Yep.
Still very, very excellent. 1 to 2 pounds a week is considered good or accelerated weight loss. Most of us struggled to lose, a 1/4 pound a week. So yeah, 2 pounds a week average is excellent.
Menopause and PCOS as a provider, is metabolic issues lifelong with PCOS? I think
So-
metabolic issues are always going to be lifelong, no matter how you slice it.
However, it is better. So the PCOS, you can unstack by weight loss some of those metabolic processes, but you are always going to be predisposed to put it back on. So you are never going to be comparative to someone without postmenopause and PCOS. So the question is, without the medication, can you eat the extremely small amount, and that's personal, because the mathematical reality is postmenopause with PCOS, your metabolic requirements are very small, very likely. So that's where sometimes the medicine
so that's why we talk about strength training, right?
Yeah.
Is because we want to increase the size of the engine, and it takes a big effort for sure. Okay, so we have 5 minutes, and then I got to go to my private coaching call. Yeah. So Jessica said she went from 15 to 10, and the food noise was unreal. I hear you. I tried to go to 2.5. I was like, fuck that. No, sorry, I can't do it. I don't get kicked off of TikTok for saying that. Whatever. It's all fine. I should not be like, don't be pissing people off. If you do want to get into coaching, send me a message on the socials. Just message me success on the socials. We'll check it out. Meredith, I know it's been discussed a million times over, but I'll ask in the event anything has changed. For maintenance, every 10 days, every 2 weeks. It's been discussed a million times because there's a million different ways to do maintenance.
Yeah.
And it depends on your dose. If you're not at a low dose, I wouldn't decrease that much or space it out that much. Lower your dose first and make sure that is working before you start to space it out, because the peaks and valleys will be too severe.
Yeah, I like that. The peaks and valleys will be severe. I mean, because the half-life for tirzepatide as an example is 5 days, right? Semaglutide 7, but so you think about that, you've got half. So if you take 5, you've got 2.5 in your system at day 5. So shoot, for some people, maintenance might be every 5 days, because you can take it, 2 days either way, according to Eli Lilly. You can take, and when we say tirzepatide, we mean tirzepatide. We mean brand name Zepbound. We mean Mounjaro. Yes, we'd have compounded options because they are in shortage, but we prescribe brand name all the time. Honestly, that's because we're healthcare providers. We're not medicine providers. We're healthcare providers. There's a difference. And
So there's 2 questions about, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
One was asking if compounds going away, and someone's asking again, should we be stockpiling? I'm assuming that has to do with compounding. So one, we don't know. I think at the end of the day, Eli Lilly's going to get people to stop producing this medication. I think they've really thought this through. Every time I think about the moves that they keep making, they know what they're doing with this. And I think Novo Nordisk is just waiting until Eli Lilly does what they're going to do. And if they win, they'll just follow suit. The thing is, we just don't know when that's going to be. Is it 3 months from now, 3 years from now? Because they have to be caught up for it to come off shortage. So it's just I think it's a matter of time, but time wise, I don't know if I'd stock up just yet.
Especially because you can't use now if you have the pens. So the pens, if you get Zepbound, it's $550 with the savings card, right? And it is based on your original BMI according to the Eli Lilly paperwork. So I've started getting the pens because yes, it is more expensive than compounded, but I can rearrange some expenses in my budget to make that happen because it matters enough to me. And Neil's talked about this before. I think last week we talked about it. The expiration date is longer on the pens. Compounded expiration date is 90 days if it's unpunctured, 28 days if it's punctured. I could be wrong on the 90. But usually some of our pharmacies are a little different, but whatever we go but the FDA says it's only 28 days on puncture. So that's a big deal, so you can't stockpile. Yeah, pens are good till 20. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Pens are good till 2026. Yes, perfect. I mean, don't stockpile because you're not supposed to, right? I'll say that out there. But I did look up today, the goal for retatrutide to be FDA approved is 2026. So we're still I thought we were closer than that. I was very disappointed when I looked that up today. I was kind of bummed. Bummed. Oh, tried Ozempic here in Canada. Oh, hey, how are you? I'm not a fan and it's expensive here as well. Yeah, Ozempic does not agree with a lot of people. And if it's mismanaged, it sucks balls, frankly. And a lot of people don't know how to manage it for actual food noise. Courtney did well on it. She went from tirzepatide to semaglutide and did well, but a lot of people just do not do well without that additive GIP-1. If the tirzepatide with the GLP-1 and the GIP receptor analogs together are like chef's kiss right there. So lots less side effects, all that goodness. I thought it was going to be in 2025 too. I was very sad. Come on, Lily. Get your shit done. Come on. Yes. Yeah, Ozempic. So compounding pharmacies in Canada. Anybody know? You'll know.
I don't know.
I don't know. They asked us not to prescribe in Canada anymore. So,
well, yeah, we don't prescribe in Canada because the off-label thing was pissy, which is fine. They can do what they want, you know? I saw the absolute funniest Ryan Reynolds. I know it's 11 o'clock and I got to go to the private coaching call, but Ryan Reynolds had this funniest thing. All you guys say you're going to leave, you're going to move to Canada. Just look up the Ryan Reynolds video. It was hilarious. He said, sorry, but don't come. It was just very cute. All right. That was so weird. I literally just, it's not giving me names of people that just followed me. That's super bizarre, but whatever. Any last minute questions before I make my private clients wait? If you want to be a private client, go to drmocoaching.com or send me a message on the socials. If you happen to be on Instagram, just throw me a DM. Don't put it in the comments, but just send me a message. It would be not, so the other countries. So here's, okay. All right. Since we're talking about Canada, it would be nice if the cost would be the same as other countries. Then the lawyer, you're welcome. Come back. Make sure you come back. So the problem is, right, the lawyers in the FDA require approval. The FDA is in the US and we require all these things. And then other countries can say, well, shoot, the US says it's safe. Let's roll with it. So we do all this research, billions of dollars of research, back end, people with lots of degrees, big fat brain cells that I don't have, doing this research. And, you know, that's it. They piggyback our research. We pay for it. I don't know what to tell you. Like well, the thing is the lawyers can't say it's safe, right? Because the FDA can't say it's safe because then people will sue you. And this drug gave me cancer. This drug gave me, ready? This drug gave me pancreatitis. No, it's your drinking that gave you pancreatitis. Sorry. Okay, I need to get less spicy. But here's the deal. It's again, it's like PCOS and obesity, right? We just keep stacking. We are in a hole, whether it's PCOS, insulin resistance, food quality, our healthcare system. We kind of dug ourselves a really big ditch. So we're helping you climb out of the ditch. If you want medical care, go to amstelehealth.com. If you want my coaching, go to Dr. Mo Coaching or send me a message on the socials. I will get those done real fast. Socials are faster. The other one gets you information, but it's an email thing. So you got to go back and forth, and it takes me a minute. I can't get into email right now. So on that note, hold on. Somebody asked on YouTube real quick, 28 days unpunctured, but compounded gives you a 12-week supply. They shouldn't. By the FDA, it's 28 days. So they should not be giving you, in one vial, they should not be giving you 12 weeks.
There was a couple pharmacies that were saying they've tested it past that to 120 days and it was fine. So it depends on the pharmacy.
Depends on the pharmacy and your provider. We kind of go by the FDA, right? Because
that would make me nervous.
The
pharmacy is willing to like ignore the FDA recommendations. I mean, we all know that that's what it said before.
Right.
But it would make me question what else they're willing to compromise if they're not going to follow that guideline.
I agree with that. If they're not going to follow FDA regulations, what else are they not following? Then that makes them that usually will boot them right off our list for the people that we work with. So anyhow, okay. All right. I got to go to my people's. So thank you very much for showing up, guys. We're here. We'll be here on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Central. The VIP hour is after that. Send me a message if you want to get in. There's two coaching calls a week now, Tuesday and Thursday. So just send me a message on the socials and say, hey, I want information, and we'll get it to you. So thank you very much to all my AMS people. Come see us at AMS, amstelehealth.com. I have to now cancel 3 screens at the same time. So we're going to go off of YouTube first.